But we start with Saquon Barkley, who's just, number one guy in fantasy football. Ridiculous.
Yeah, the volume is there. He gets 26 carries, but more importantly, the production is there. 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has 52 receiving yards. We heard from Saquon after the game on the Eagles sticking with the run.
We just kept trusting it. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's really what it was. We kept trusting it. We made some checks, and we were just a lot of those runs. When we go back, and we were just one away. Whether it's one block, whether it's one read, and or I might have been a little too tight, or I could have hit it outside. They did a really good job too. I'm gonna give credit where credit needs to be due. Washington came out with a really great game plan, but that's the beauty of football. You could stop us for 20-something carries, but if you rip off 2 long ones when it matters most, the stats look pretty good, and most times you get a win.
Yeah, there's I don't know if there's anything really other to say about Saquon Barkley. He's very good. Great game last night, and could have been better. Got tackled at the 1-yard line, and then they go to the tush push with Jalen Hurts. Literally could have been a 3-touchdown game for Saquon Barkley. He's had now 100 or more yards rushing in 4 of the last 5 games. But what was really nice to see is the 52 yards receiving, again, which is his season high in receiving yards. Saquon Barkley drinks for free at the happy hour.
He picked up the tab for Jake Elliott.
Oh my God, 1,000%. I'll tell you who should be buying Saquon Barkley drinks is Jake Elliott, because if the Eagles lose that game, Jake Elliott can't show his face in Philadelphia. Now all is forgiven. Maybe not all is forgiven, but the sports radio callers in Philadelphia today can have a little less to complain about.
Last night I likened it to Jake Elliott. He was drawn to the wide left like a child when they have a bicycle. They're just drawn to riding into the same tree over and over again. It was like that. I was like, why don't you kick it slightly to the right next time? Jake's like every single one.
Yeah.
He snuck it in as well. So all over the place, seemed to be in his own head, but they get out alive. So one thing about betting is that when you bet on a team, player, or whatever, you just get a much more of an understanding of that player because you focus so intently on them or on that team. And last night, having bet on the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is not playing very well at the moment. And also, Saquon Barkley kind of bailed him out as well. Hurts was better in the second half. Hurts was a disaster in the first half. It just seemed like the one throw he missed, A.J. Brown, where the corner fell over, it just felt like he was also in his own head, not playing really well. And I think the only takeaway from that really is that Saquon is just going to continue to be heavily, heavily leaned on until Hurts kind of finds his rhythm again. Because, people are messaging me, is Jalen Hurts an MVP candidate? What? Jalen Hurts isn't an MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts has barely been an above-average quarterback this year. Saquon Barkley is that team's MVP candidate. So, look, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they don't do a ton. They're going to be better most weeks, but Hurts, outside of throwing these go balls and running, he just hasn't really developed the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's the rushing touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
It is the tush push, but that's been a big part of Hurts' game throughout his pro career. It's his 5th straight game with a rushing touchdown. He now has 11 rushing touchdowns this season. No other quarterback has more than 5, and Hurts has 11. Under 20 fantasy points for the first time since week 4, but still 221 passing yards. He gets the 39 rushing yards, and he gets the rushing touchdown. Finishes with 18.7. You'll take that. It was certainly solid. But you're right. The problem with the inconsistent play from Jalen Hurts is that sometimes it will affect the wide receivers. And Devontae Smith now has a 2nd straight game with under 7 fantasy points. Since week 3, he has only 1 game with more than 4 receptions. And so he's a little bit more boomer bust this season, again, to your point about both Hurts' inconsistency, and also they're getting so much production out of the run game, they don't need to throw as much. Yeah. It's why the undercashed for some people on Jalen Hurts passing attempts.
Well, it's crazy, too, because he did throw a lot in the first half where I was like, I'm not even going to have to track this anymore. And then you get to the fourth quarter, you're like,
he got a shot.
They're not throwing at all. We're back in this. And, cash for some people. For some people, it didn't. Our guy Jonathan that tracks all of our bets, he sent me, he had a parlay. It was plus 2,200. And he had the Hurts pat. The only leg of 6 that didn't cash was Hurts 27.5. Yep. He had your bet, which was Ertz. He was very in on the Eagles. I was like, we'll get you back, buddy.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah, we'll get you
back.
back.
Glad you didn't take Commanders +4. I'm glad you ignored me on that one as well. They also have 10 days to prepare. I do think better days are ahead for the Eagles offense at the Rams, at Baltimore, home to Carolina. It's not till home to Pittsburgh that you feel worried about it. Again, It struggled against the runabouts against Baltimore, but you'll be able to throw on them. And obviously, Carolina's Carolina. I'm not worried about the Rams game that they'll have 10 days to prepare for. So, congrats to the Eagles. Congrats to my friend Gary, and congrats to Jay. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.